Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. This amendment is not one I'm going to withdraw, and it has to do with something that the District of Columbia did. And that is it passed a Physician-Assisted Suicide Act. And I want you to think about the way things have changed. Well, you know, in the hospital we had a joke that went around, and you know, what's the difference between God and a doctor? God doesn't think she's a doctor. What this bill does, this bill says that a physician declaring that they believe that someone is going to die within 6 months, you have the right to write them a lethal prescription, a prescription that will kill them, suicide. The bill is described as death with dignity. There's nothing dignified about suicide, ever, in my belief. Nothing. It's not the answer. Fact is that 25% of people who request these have depression. I went to medical school. The treatment for depression was not death. That was not the treatment. Last week, I urge you all to read an article that a young former Marine wrote in the Wall Street Journal. Says, I want my doctors to help me live, not die, on assisted suicide and the temptation of despair. Mr. Chairman, this was a young Marine who came, got headaches, was found to have a stage 4 glioblastoma, was told he had less than 4 months to live 3 years ago. Just this morning in the paper, a new therapy for large beta cell lymphoma was approved just yesterday by a committee at FDA called CAR-T, brand new technology. 22 days from the day you have your T cells drawn out of your body, get sent to a lab, your cells get genetically modified, get re-injected into you with an 83% success rate at curing a lethal disease. 22 days. Now think of it. Last week, under the D.C. bill, a physician could say, you know what, you have large cell B-cell lymphoma, you have less than 6 months to live, boom, here's your lethal dose. Today, FDA advisory panels recommended a treatment that within 8 weeks, 83% chance of cure. People come to Washington for a couple of reasons. One is they come to the NIH because we believe that we can actually cure disease and treat people. The other thing they're going to come to Washington for, we don't pass the bill, they're going to come to get a lethal injection. At the prescription of a physician who's plays God. That's the bottom line. Mr. Chairman, this is bad policy. And I won't go through how, because this policy in D.C. differs from other states that have done it, which makes it even worse policy the way it's done here. We have Article 1, Section 8 authority. Under the Home Rule Act, we have the absolute ability to judge anything that the District of Columbia does that we think is bad policy. Mr. Chairman, this is really bad policy. So I'm going to move my amendment.